My name is Peter Doornbos. I was here at ISKL from September 1971 until February 1974. I'm class of 74, but unfortunately due to my father being recalled, I didn't actually get to graduate here, which was a bit of a hardship, but it's probably the way things happened here a lot. Kids coming and going the whole time. If your parents were reposted somewhere else, well, you just picked up sticks and went, and I guess that's probably still a truth today. I was posted here from New Zealand, so that was my base at that time. Previous to that, I actually had lived in Western Samoa, as it was called as well, so my life had already been sort of, all about travelling and moving around. My experiences here in KL, on first arrival, I was very happy to be back in the tropics because my Western Samoa days, it was just an idyllic way of life, no winter, which in New Zealand obviously we have a pretty strong winter there, so it was good to be away from that again. Immediately that I came to ISKL, my first day, I was struck obviously at first by, this is really sort of quite strange, the buildings and everything were old, and at first you sort of wondered, what have I got myself into? But as soon as I walked into the place and started meeting people, it was just, you really got pulled in, and people wanted to know all about you and were interested basically in your answers, and you soon became sort of to feel that you were sort of part of a family of very different groups of people, because they literally, being an international school, were from every corner of the globe. So yeah, it was very interesting. When I left New Zealand and we got told that we're going to Malaysia, my first vision of it was basically just jungles. There's just jungle out there, and is there really a city to go and live in? I mean, what are we going to live in there when we get there? It was just sort of, travel in those days was not a common thing, and very few people actually left the country. I remember when I was in elementary school in New Zealand, my family were Dutch, and when I was about 2, I actually went back to Holland with my mother for a year, and we went by ship and we came back by ship, and we happened to go out via the Panama and come back via the Cape of Good Hope. And I remember telling somebody at my school then in New Zealand that I'd been around the world. This guy took me around the school and just had to show me to everybody, because this guy had actually been out of the country, but not only that, round the world, and people just didn't travel. So going to Malaysia was an amazing sort of adventure, because we just had no expectation or idea of what to expect. Life in Malaysia, we found very quickly, was similar in some ways to Samoa, but in other ways very different. All of a sudden, we were very much a minority. I mean, we didn't even register as a percentage of the population, sort of the expats, if you like. So it was a very much being conscious of respecting, basically, people's cultures and stuff here. That was very strong, and obviously the cultures and losing myself was a very big change. So we soon adapted to that, and just the eccentricities that we found here, just some things, and I think it's still true today too, they get things almost there, if you like. If you're walking around and sort of you get these beautiful buildings and stuff, but you find just round the corner there's things that just don't fit in, and I think still that's true today. But it's sort of the quaintness of the place. We were recalled, as I said, halfway through my senior year, which was a great disappointment to me. Because of my father's health, we got pulled back to New Zealand, so I had to actually finish my last year at a New Zealand school, and the culture shock was immense. Basically, the culture at ISKL, and not having been to the US, I didn't know if this was true of all US schools, or ISKL was actually, a special sort of case, if you like. But I actually felt that I had a really good adult relationship with my teachers, if you like. and going back to New Zealand where it was still sort of an old school type attitude where people were raised basically as cannon fodder. You went through the system. If you didn't fit, you dropped out, or, you know, what have you. And it was very much the teacher was the authority, if you like, and trying to challenge that authority was just not the done thing. And, of course, I'd been through ASKL, so I was a bit of a rebel. So my last year at school over there probably wasn't as easy as it could have been.